We got in late last night, so we're just working through a lot of things here. Big player day here, exit physicals, exit meetings, all those different things. So don't really have a whole lot to tell you. What I will say is probably we'll haven't even met with the coaches. Really haven't met with the coaches that much. Haven't met with Cal, so don't have a lot to tell you. But I will say that maybe at a later date we'll have another press availability and be able to answer maybe some of the questions that you may have that I won't be able to answer as well today. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
After the game, you said on that when you kicked the field goal instead of going 4th and 1, you thought about Childman's spot. You said you didn't really have a great play for that situation, so you kicked the field goal.
Yeah, I think with any decision, John, you're always in the moment. You're trying to make the best decision for the team, and sometimes those decisions are the right decisions, and sometimes they're not. And I think that's the nature of coaching. I think that throughout the year, there were times where we made really good decisions. There were times where maybe the decision could have been better. I don't want to really comment on one specific decision. It's just something that we've got to work hard to keep improving on. Feel like we did a lot of good this year relative to some of those decisions, but there's some things we need to improve upon. And but I think there's a bigger picture to it, relative to what you're thinking in that moment.
In the short term, how much does a difficult loss like this take away from what you feel like you've accomplished this year?
Yeah, it's hard, Mark. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we feel like over the last couple of years here, we've done some good things. We've won 4 division titles. We've won 20-plus games in the last 2 years. We won a playoff game this year. We've got a great young quarterback. We got a lot of good young core players. But yesterday was not good, and we understand that, and we want to really work hard to try to improve that and get beyond that. And that's what today is. It starts that process today, really, just kind of seeing where the players are at, talking to them, reviewing the season a little bit with as much as we can today, exit physicals, things like that, see where they are health-wise, and then move forward.
Will the DJ Reader shown over the year, which is the priority for you guys that you'd like to have later for a long time?
DJ is definitely in that category of smart, tough, and dependable. He's been a really good player for us ever since the day he walked in here. And so, we're going to sit down with DJ. We're going to talk, and, we're going to try to do what's best for both sides, and we'll see where that goes. But DJ is just he's an awesome guy, guy that has played a lot of great football for us, and that's it.
Last offseason, you targeted the offensive line. What do you expect to do to get better this offseason?
Yeah, I think that's something that we're again. We start that process today a little bit, get going on that. What the coaches are doing right now after today. After they meet with their players, now we'll start the postseason evaluations of everything, player evaluations, scheme evaluations, all those different things, and that'll help us determine where we need to go relative to your question. So I wouldn't be able to answer that right now, John, but like I said, maybe at a later time I would be able to answer that more clearly.
Let's use both tags this upcoming season. How likely would you say that is that you would actually do that?
It's hard to say. I wouldn't be able to put a percentage on that, Aaron. I would just say that, anything that's available to us relative to what we believe would be best for our team, then, we'll talk about it and see if that's the right thing to do.
You guys picked up Vernon. You mentioned kind of the situation a lot. Just to be a close-up evaluation of him. What do you think of what he provided for your team?
Vernon came in here. We claimed him. He came in here. He worked very hard worker, guy that really showed up to practice every day, learned the system. I don't think that's easy, to be able to come in the middle of a season and really later than that and play that nickel position is not easy. So I give a lot of credit to Vernon. There's a lot of things that he's going to work hard to improve upon. We're going to help him with that. But I think Vernon stepped into a tough situation and really made the best of it.
What do you think about this overall season that Deshaun had and the development he's made since he got here?
Deshaun Watson has gotten better every day, every year, every minute that he's here. We're better because of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson works very hard. He's a student of the game. He loves the game. He's the ultimate competitor. He just does a great job. And so because of his work ethic, because of the type of person that he is, he will continue to get better. And there's no substitute for experience. You know, he'll, with all the experiences that he's had early in his career here, you know, plus his work ethic, plus his talent, all those different things, plus who he is as a man, he's going to just keep getting better.
With Laramie Tunsil, you guys having made the trade for him, happy with how it worked out. How much would you guys like to have him here with a longer contract?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, you know, look, we want Laramie here. Laramie knows that. I think, you know, relative to contracts and all those different things, it really wouldn't be fair for me to comment on any of those things, Aaron, just because I don't think that's fair to you know, the player or the organization. You know, I just think we got to keep those things in house. But I can unequivocally state to you that we want Laramie here for a long time.
You always say players have to improve, and so do coaches. What do you think? You say every year you improve as a head coach. What do you think you need to improve on this summer?
I think that's something. There will be things, definitely, John. I think that you know, and again, and this is no excuse, and this is why I say maybe I'll have a better answer for you at a later date. But you know, that's what this process is all about. I think we're going to work here for a while. We're going to take some time off, and those are things that I'm going to really think about. You know, what we can do better, what I can do better, what we can do better as a coaching staff, what I can do better. And we'll work hard to try to improve in a lot of areas, but I wouldn't be able to answer that specifically right now. I got to really, you know, put more thought into that.
Get input on that from other people about what you need to improve on?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I you know, I think when you have a coaching staff or you have people around you that you know, are not shy about telling you the truth. Just, you know, there's a lot of truth and honesty in our meetings, and you know, we're not ready for those yet because I think today is a big player day relative to wrapping up with the players here before they're out of here for a while. But we'll get to those meetings and we'll talk and we'll think about things that we need to improve upon.
Bill, after the game, Deshaun showed supreme confidence in you, and he says he's always going to be rooting for you. As you know, all the meetings that you have and the relationship that you develop with him, what does it mean for you to hear something like that from your quarterback? Yeah, I mean, you know, I think when you spend so much time with somebody and you have so much respect for who he is, for how he works, I know he respects the way we work and what we try to do to help the team win, and he's just a great person. You know, we're fortunate to have him here. You know, he's I think, you know, he really understands what we're trying to do here. He understands the work that it's going to take, and you know, we have so much confidence in him, and you know, so relative to what he said or all that, I'm not really sure about all that. I just know that I have a tremendous amount of confidence in him, and I think he's a great person.
How much does it benefit you to be in charge from today forward as opposed to last year when you got this personnel late?
I think that relative to like being in charge, again, I think there's a lot of people that help. I just really want to try to do the best I can to make that clear. I mean, there are a lot of people, whether it's the coordinators or Jack Easterby or Matt Bazergan or whoever, that are involved with decision making, and so it's definitely a consensus. You know, we try to build a consensus. You know, that's one thing that Bob talked about a lot, Bob McNair. That's one thing that Cal talks a lot about, is we try to build a consensus. That's what we try to do, and I think that starts today, you know, with some of the information that we'll get today, and then we'll move forward with that. Jerome had a question.
I assume there was some hyperbole in you. You said yesterday that you thought you needed to score 50 to beat them. Is their offense in that scheme that much better than what your defense could do?
Yeah. I mean, there probably was a little bit of hyperbole in that I said, but I felt like we had to score more than, you know, 24. I really did. I really thought that that they had an explosive offense. That's nothing against, and I'm not saying anything. I just think the way that their offense is constructed, and the way that they could generate points, you know, I just felt like we were going to have to score points, and you know, that's just the way I felt. I know our defense was going to play hard and going to do everything they could to keep him out of the end zone, but I just at that point in time, I just felt like for that game yesterday that we were going to have to score more than 24. 50 would be a hyperbole. You're right about that.
When you think of Titus Howard's development, obviously he had the injury, but before that happened, what you saw from him and his future?
Yeah, Titus, had a really good rookie year. I mean, the guy was really playing well for us. Very tough, very physical, very athletic, great guy, great teammate. And then he was injured in the Kansas City game in October, and, it was a tough injury. He tried to come back, he played with it, and then, we decided to shut him down because it wasn't going to be good for him. It was better for him to begin that rehab process and all those things. So, but he's got a really bright future.
You made the flurry of moves before the season started. Did you get the kind of payout that you wanted from those? And maybe as a follow-up, I would ask, was that, in your view, a long-term move, or was that a short-term move for the franchise?
I think that those moves did pay off. Those guys came in, without mentioning each guy specifically, but I do believe that those guys came in and really, entered into our culture of what we're trying to do, learn the systems, tried to go out there, and those guys played well. I'm sure there's always plays that each one of them wish they could have back, but I think that those guys helped our team win this year when we won. And I think any move we make, we try to think about the long term. Now, you could probably pick and choose some moves where maybe contractually it doesn't seem like it's long term, but within the building and within the meeting rooms, we think about it more for long term purposes as we move forward here. But I think all those guys came in and contributed.
Is the plan for the front office setup to stay the same way by committee, or do you envision Cal hiring a GM?
I haven't even met with Cal today, to be honest with you. I would be remiss by answering that question, but I feel like where we are right now, the way that I see it right now, it stays the way it is, and we have again a great group of people that meet daily, that talk about the team, the roster, all the support staff, the sub programs that we have here, and try to make the best decisions for the team.
Bill, when you have a franchise quarterback, the other thing that you mentioned was long, you have to pay that franchise quarterback. Now that Deshaun's eligible for that in his third year, is that something that you want to undertake as soon as you can this offseason at any point, and try to make sure that he's secured here for a very long time?
Good. And Aaron, another great question, but relative to those things, I really don't want to talk about those things publicly. I can tell you publicly, though, that we obviously want Deshaun Watson here for a long, long time. We want him to be a Houston Texan for his career. He is a great person. He's a great football player, and he means a lot to this organization, to this city, to this league. And so I just don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of when you would do that and all those different things. Those things take time, and but we want him here for a long time.
Draft choices, do you anticipate to have it, other than your first one?
Yeah, I don't, John, there's so much that can happen between now and the draft. To say how many I would anticipate happening or having, is hard. I mean, that wouldn't be fair to say we're going to have this many, because I just think between now and draft time, there's so many things that can happen. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Mid-story picks or trades?
Anything,
before the draft?
anything's possible.
Bill, a couple of your players said they felt like Texans let their fans down. How do you address that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think anytime you lose, you make it to the final 8 and you lose, the way we lost, we definitely, look, we love our fans, but we want our fans to know that, we're working very hard. We feel like we have a really good culture here. We've got a good group of core players here. We're working hard to make the next step to get to where everybody wants us to get to and where we want to get to. But, it just didn't go that way yesterday. And, we want to tell our fans to stay with us, to understand that we have a great group of core players here that we really believe in. We've got an excellent young quarterback that's just completed his 3rd season. And we feel like we have a really bright future here. And we think our fans are a huge part of that. And so we want our fans to know that we're going to work very, very hard to get back to that game where we were yesterday. And then, obviously try to do better. And that's what we want our fans to know.
Comes to that improvement that you're talking about with John, how likely is it that you might relinquish some of your duties so you can focus?
I think you got to look at everything, Jerome. I think you got to, every year is different. I think you have to look at yourself first before you look at anything else. And I think that that's what we're starting to do today with me, relative to myself, just looking at some of the things that went on, whether it was yesterday or the whole year. We start that process right now. And I think you have to look at everything, and you have to decide what you're doing is what you're doing the best for the football team. Can you help the team in another way? And that's what we'll do. And I think everybody needs to do that. I really do. I think every player needs to do that. I think every coach needs to do that. I think you have to be, you have to look at yourself a little bit. And that's what we're going to start that process today.